It doesn't get any easier, though. Robin's been playing great this week, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yesterday against the big serve of Kevin Anderson, you broke him 4 times and held 9 break points. Is that a good indication of the form you're in coming into today's final?
Well, I've been breaking serve this week. That's a good thing. Obviously the chances against Robin this week, I think, have been few and far between. I think he's lost serve once. So I'm going to need to return well.
Well, we wish you the best, and we thank you again for your kind donations to the Queensland Flat Appeal.
Thank you.
Andy faces world number 5 and top seed for this tournament, Robin Soderling. Robin, the number 1 and number 2 seeds head-to-head. Is this the type of hard match play you hope for in Brisbane in the lead-up to the first Grand Slam of the year?
Yeah, I think so. I played already 4 good matches here, and now the 5th one's going to be really tough. But it's a final, so it should be tough. But I'm really looking forward to the match.
Robin, it has been a near-perfect week for you. Yesterday you described your semi-final win against Roddick Stepanek as your best of the week. You certainly seem to lift a gear. You must be going into today's final with some confidence.
Yeah, I do. I played really well this week, and I really feel like I kept on improving for every match, and hopefully I can do that today as well.
Well, we love having you here in Brisbane. All the best.
Thank you so much.
Well, Andy Roddick, he's aiming for his 30th career title today, and Robin Soderling, he's 7th. Not so good in the finals, Soderling. He's had 6 wins to 10 runner-up performances, I think it is. It's the 6th meeting between the two, and Robin Soderling leads 3-2 coming into this match. They last played at the Paris Indoor, which was just 2 months ago, which Soderling won.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the men's singles final at the Brisbane International for 2011. From the United States of America, please welcome Andy Roddick. And his opponent from Sweden, Robin Soderling.
Well, joining me in commentary for this final today is John Fitzgerald, and Fitzy, we've seen some pretty good tennis from these two this week.
Oh yeah, and the potential today in this matchup I think is quite outstanding. 2 world-class players. They're only 3 years difference in age, but they've got a vast difference in experience at finals level. Roddick has played an amazing amount of finals. He's won 29 titles. He's been a runner-up in 19 others. Soderling has only been in this situation 16 times before for a record of 6 and 10 in finals. So this man's on the rise, though. Roddick has been around a long time, but today he's playing one of the form players in the world, and a guy that can really stay in the top echelon of this men's sport for a long time.
I was interested to hear him say to Liz there, he feels like he's been fairly conservative this week, and we've actually noted that a bit. We've talked a lot about his defensive skills, and then yesterday in the semi-final against Kevin Anderson, there was an opportunity where he could have used the forehand a little bit more and gone for some more and tried to put Anderson away in straight sets. He didn't. He ended up dropping that second set, and he was not very happy about it.
Yeah, I think the dilemma for defensive players against Soderling is how well they can absorb the power.
Fergus Murphy just waiting for Robin Soderling to come over for the coin toss. Both players are going through their routine, taking a lot of time. Here we go for the coin toss.
Well then, gentlemen, everything's the same as usual. You heard there's a national anthem after the coin toss, so back to your chairs for that. Everything else is the same. Questions? Requests? Robin? Heads? Heads called. And yes. Serving.
That's fine.
And swapping. Okay.
So Robin Soderling wins the toss. Good start for him, and he's electing to serve. And both players making their way back to their seats where we're going to hear the national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to introduce 2 stars from Broadway's biggest blockbuster, Wicked, Lucy Durack and Gemma Ricks, as they sing the Australian national anthem.
We've golden soil and well for toil. lips of beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing. Advance Australia
Sorry guys, need you off.
Andy Roddick is the defending men's singles champion here at
Brisbane International. Also last year, he won the Miami singles title, was a finalist in San Jose and at Indian Wells, and a semi-finalist in Atlanta, Cincinnati and Basel on the ATP World Tour. He's now won 29 career singles titles, including the 2003 US Open Championship. The second seed here in 2011 from the USA, back on Pat Rafter Arena, back in a final. Please welcome Andy Roddick. Well, in 2010, Robin Sderling won singles titles in Rotterdam and Paris and has now collected 6 singles crowns on the ATP World Tour. Also last year, a finalist in Barcelona at Bouchard, a finalist of course at Roland Garros in the French Championship, and a semi-finalist at Indian Wells in Miami and Valencia. He was also a quarter-finalist at the Wimbledon Championships, a quarter-finalist at the US Open, and also at 5 other tournaments during the year. He is the top seed here in 2011. He is the world number 5 from Sweden in the final. Let's welcome Robin Sderling. Ladies and gentlemen, in the chair in command of the men's singles final at the Brisbane International for 2011 from Dublin in Ireland, we welcome Mr. Fergus Murphy.
Full house at Pat Rafter Arena for the final here of the Brisbane International between Andy Roddick and Robin Soderling. Both players just going through their warm-up. Andy Roddick coming in to take a few volleys. Fitzy, sometimes you'd like to see him taking a few more volleys during the match, wouldn't you?
Well, you would, and look, he's inclined to come in when it's really necessary, Andy, but he's predominantly a defensive player from the back of the court until he's presented with an opportunity to attack, and he doesn't consistently hit the ball as heavy, anywhere near as heavy as Soderling. So for me, that's a good matchup to see how Roddick can absorb the power from the back of the court from Soderling. He's 28 years of age, Andy. He's a US Open champion, and he's a 3-time Wimbledon runner-up too, Roddick. I thought he deserved one of those. He's been a good enough player to win more than one major, in my opinion. He's played well this week. Had a bit of a hiccup in the middle of his match yesterday against Kevin Anderson of South Africa. But he's been very strong and confident all week. It's a good start to the season again for Andy, and he is the defending champion here in Brisbane.
Well, his partner opponent up the other end of the court in the last 2 years has really come to his fore. He's been in 2 Grand Slam finals. Robin Soderling is 26 years of age. He stands 6'4", and you can see he won the ATP Masters finals in Paris at the end of last year, and he beat Andy Roddick along the way in that tournament in the quarterfinals. This is how he made his way to the final this week. Hasn't dropped a set. Ryan Harrison, the young American, beat him 2-4. Michael Berra, Australian Matt Ebden 3-2. And then yesterday against Radek Stepanek, a player that in the past he's had trouble with, he looked very, very impressive.
Gee, what a pleasure to see the Pat Rafter Arena full here in Brisbane. It's been inclement, to say the least, up here this week with the weather patterns that have been around. There's Larry Stefanki on the left in the white hat. Long-time coach now of Andy Roddick. He's coached people of the stature of John McEnroe, Marcelo Rios.
1 minute.
Tim Henman.
Yeah, he's been around a long time, Larry. Was a good player in his own right. Won a Masters Series event at La Quinta many years ago, which evolved into the event at Indian Wells. So a quality player and a bundle of knowledge for his man Andy Roddick.
And that man in screen there is Claudio Pistolesi with the white cap on. He's the coach of Robin Soderling. They've only really just got together. Soderling spent a lot of time with Magnus Norman, the former Swedish top 10 player, finalist at Roland Garros also. And the players are actually just looking at the side of the court because there's rain coming in underneath the roof. And
yeah, well, that happens sometimes here, doesn't it, at this Pat Rafter Arena. The roof is not connected all the way around with the upper echelon of the upper reaches of the stadium walls, and sometimes moisture comes through those gaps when the wind becomes strong outside. So there's still a lot of moisture hanging around here. It was raining heavily in the city this morning. Andy heading for a quick break.
Well, that's the most that we've also seen umbrellas coming down into the stand too, so it's pretty squally outside of the arena.
So that's interesting. That's actually inside this hybrid type stadium. It's not indoors, it's not outdoors, it's got a roof covering over the top, but through those gaps sometimes the rain comes through.
Well, Andy Roddick's just run off court to take a quick toilet break before the start of this match, so we may take that opportunity also. We'll be with you for the start of this in just a moment.
The way you move is like a full-on rainstorm, and I'm a house of cards.
First set. Robin Soderling to serve.
Well, we're ready to get underway. Soderling to serve. It's the final, the Brisbane International.
Love. 30-15.
The objective of Roddick quite often is to get the ball back into play and nullify the serve, get it back, and then start the rally. And he's very good defensively in the rally for a big man. He covers a lot of court from deep in the court, but it's the power of Soderling that will be different today than the matches he's seen so far this week.
Expect to see a bit of that today. Soderling, he's hit the ball harder this week than anyone else in the field, so he'll really try to push Roddick deep into the court.
And I think he hit it harder and heavier by a fair margin than anyone else in this field.
Just like that. Wow, what a forehand from Soderling.
7 Summer of Tennis is proudly brought to you by ANZ. We live in your world. Panadol relieves, respects body first. And Optus, the official telecommunications provider of the Australian Open.
Well, they're the sorts of winners that we have grown used to seeing from Soderling, aren't they? They're the thing that undid Rafael Nadal at Roland Garros a couple of years ago. The ability to just step up and smack winners.
Well, he, more than probably anyone else in the men's game, has given Nadal and Federer probably more trouble. He lost to Federer in the final of the French and beat Nadal along the way, and then the next year beat Nadal and lost to beat Federer and lost to Nadal. So
15 love.
But he'll also have to nullify this serve, the major strength of Andy Roddick. And I just see that as a little sobering for Andy from the back of the court. You know, that ball was pretty deep, and against mere mortals, that he absolutely would have seen another shot there. But that's the power, the indication of the power from Soderling. He hit a winner from behind the baseline. Andy's wife, Brooklyn, there. Watching on with Doug Spreen, Andy's personal trainer, and of course Larry Stefanki. If I was in Roddick's camp, just the initial thoughts here in this second game is that from the back of the court, Soderling looks quite ominous. So the serve needs to be on song for Roddick. Faces a break point in this first game. was happy with that one. A sign of Roddick's defensive skills.
If it's going to be a tough day at the office, if you're going to have to defend like this all day long, Fitzy.
Well, especially when you consider that Soderling won't miss this forehand too often. He overplays it on this occasion.
Advantage, Roddick.
Serves his way out of trouble. Andy Roddick, 2 aces to level at 1-1. And courtside we've got Jeff Masters. Just how hard is that forehand and the ground stroking from Soderling?
Oh, it's big, isn't it? If Roddick hits the ball short at all, it's going to be a problem for him. But, gee, there's a real air of expectation out here as the players walked on court. There was cheers of, come on, Andy, come on, Robin, and even, come on, Fergus, the chair umpire. They're pumped for this.
15 love.
We've got the Irish contingent here as well for Fergus Murphy. That's beautiful. Well, Soderling showing us how he can serve as well.
Oh! 15 all. Mr. Soderling challenging the call, left service line. Ball was called fault. Ball stands. 15 all. Soderling has 2 challenges remaining.
Seemed a little bit of a waste there from Soderling. A long way out.
Sort of dominating quickly in this match already, isn't it? 3 aces apiece from both players.
Well, it is a little bit of a trademark of the modern men's game now. If you don't have a big serve, you're behind the 8 ball. That needs to be really a given, I think. If you're going to reach the top echelon of the sport.
Make that 4 aces for Robin Soderling. He leads 2-1 in the opening set.
Soderling leads 2 games to 1. Time.
Not much happening on the outside courts now. We're in the last match of this year's Brisbane International, the men's final, but there was plenty of action early on in the week, and once the tournament leaves, it's the National Academy here in Brisbane, and all of our juniors get back out there into training. Academy led by Scott Draper and David Hodge.
Love 15.
Todd, you'll be happy with that. Roddick coming in a little more, and he needs to, I think. He has to vary his game. If Soderling gets his serve back, he needs to try and finish the point reasonably quickly, Roddick, because from the back of the court, Soderling in these early stages is dominating.
There's a slight pause in this forehand, just an indecision about whether to be aggressive or not. And we take a look at the Roddick serve. The beauty of that serve is off the same ball toss. He can hit any serve down the tee, cuts it wide, so hard to read.
You can understand the anticipation from this crowd. You know, you've got a player like Roddick, whose record speaks for itself, but he's currently ranked 8 in the world, but he's up against the number 5. You'd expect fireworks, you'd expect high level. 2 big names of men's international tennis here in this final.
That's what he does so well. Well, he gets up into the court quickly. He's deep there, hits a good strong ball. Now, watch, he takes this one up on the baseline.
Tell you what, though, I'm not sure I like the matchup here from the back of the court for Andy Roddick, because against certain matchups, that defensive ploy of his to get the ball back with no pace works. Against Soderling, not so sure.
He's down break point. His previous service game, he survives another one there. Well, I found that point quite fascinating, because I'd say 3 or 4 years ago, Soderling would have gone for a bigger shot, perhaps even a clean winner a lot earlier in that rally. He's confident now that he can wait, build to the right one, and then go for it. And in the end, he drew the error.
Well, our stats show us there was 19 traded ground strokes in that game, so he was patient in that point. So he was patient, just waiting for the right ball. Soderling, another break point.
Gets it that time. Let's have a hear at what Roddick said about having to come up against Soderling in this final.
Well, I mean, you know what it is, but the thing is, his strengths kind of make it tough to get to those. You know, he hits the ball so big that a lot of times you're at his mercy. He serves really big. You know, so you know, he kind of, some people mask them by movement or getting away from him. He masks them by aggression. You know, he's able to kind of hit through the court, therefore making it tougher to put the ball in the spots that you want it to be. You know, so everybody's got something that you're looking to get at, but you know, he's certainly improved a lot in the last 2 years.
And pretty fair comments, I think, from Andy. He's certainly wise in the ways of or his way around a tennis court. He understands clearly the strengths and weaknesses of opposition players and certainly his own as well. He plays to that beautifully.
30 love.
The problem he faces today is, though, that from the back of the court, he's not hurting Soderling at all, unless he steps it up to another level, and he can really do that on the forehand at times. But there is a difference in power here, and he's being hurt when they're both on the baseline trading ground strokes. Roddick. Good anticipation there, though. Soderling guilty of not quite doing enough with that approach on the forehand. He has plenty of time here. Has to generate all his own speed, but Roddick guesses and edges to that backhand side and makes it a difficult volley.
I'm not so sure that he looked in a bit of discomfort at the end of this volley.
Forty 15.
Well, there's been just recent history of a sore knee. I think it's the left knee of Soderling. He's not wearing a bandage today, but he had one taped below the knee a couple of days ago, and so there must be some soreness there, but I'm sure he wouldn't start this match if there was any doubt.
Strong hold for Soderling. He races ahead 4-1 in the first.
Soderling leads 4 games to 1. Time.
There's a lot at stake here. There's the title, there's some pride, there's a lot of money too. The winner taking home 73,000 US dollars, the runner up 38,450.
15 left.
Well, we saw Andy obliterate a racket yesterday against Kevin Anderson when he dropped serve, and that dropped the second set.
Well, this is just a routine forehand, though. He's frustrated because maybe he's trying to put a little bit more on it. He's actually missing more today against Soderling, and sometimes that's the power of the opposition. You feel like you're under pressure. You have to do a little bit more, create a few errors.
Setting 15. Penalty 15. Game Roddick.
Well, another ace for Andy Roddick. They're at 4-2. Served a lot of aces this week.
Soderling leads 4 games 2-2.
47 aces to be exact so far, Andy Roddick, and predominantly down the middle of the court on both sides, but especially just to the right side of that centre line. That's the first court he's hitting his aces into, and guess what? You think Roddick's got a big serve, well, so does this man Soderling, and most of his aces are in the same spot, down the middle to the first court. So we emphasise so much the power and the magnificent serving action of Andy Roddick and what a weapon it is. Well, we don't talk about it so much with Soderling, but he's up there, right with Roddick in that category.
Well, fastest of the week at 2:30.
Which is faster than Andy's fastest serve.
Too good.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel nervous for Andy every time he gets embroiled in a backcourt rally. I just feel like he's too deep in the court. He can't hurt Soderling, and he just picks him off.
Well, just keep your eye on the preparation on that swing on the forehand. It's a big swing, but he gets the racket so far back, it's hard to pick which way he's going to go. Just like that. The point before, same swing, he hooks it cross court.
Yeah, Jeff Masters, he's really overpowering Andy Roddick from the back of the court in the early stages, isn't he?
Yeah, the ground stroking power of Soderling is appreciably bigger, and I think the only time that Soderling's not overpowering Roddick is when Roddick hits the slice backhand. It's keeping low. The forehand, though, it's up there in the slot, just like that. And he's really, Roddick's giving it a lot of revolutions, the forehand, but it's just bouncing into the slot because Soderling is so tall, he's just enjoying that. So I think Soderling's going to be patient off Roddick's slice backhand, and the minute the ball's up in the hitting zone, he's just going after it. So as you said, guys, problems for Roddick, I think, are appreciable.
Replay the one. Mr. Soderling challenging the call right near sideline. One was called out.
Well,
Andy won't mind that call, will he? Because he was dead buried just about.
Well, it was the first time he dominated a point, really, from the back of the court, Andy, and he still looked like he was going to lose it. So I'll back Fergus Murphy. He barely makes an error. Oh, he's missed it.
Fergus Murphy, that was 1 millimetre out, so we'll forgive him. And Robin Soderling's on top here. It's 5-2 in the first set.
Time.
Just take a look at the body language of Andy Roddick. Head down. I think he's feeling a fair bit of pressure. Soderling 5-2.
Yeah, well, sometimes you know pretty early that what trend is developing in a match, and he senses that from the back of the court he's really under the pump here. He's going to have to do something a little different, and to say the least, he has to maintain this serving accuracy of his.
15 love. Challenging the call, left near sideline, ball was called fault. Ball returned.
3 in a row.
Let's first serve.
Yeah, the crowd wants a 4th in a row here too. What are the odds you'll go for an ace here?
Not good. Soderling 5-3.
Soderling leads 5 games to 3.
The sound that comes off Soderling's racket is because he's got so much racket head speed. The arc is so big, he creates so much speed with the racket. And the sound off his racket is different to anyone else's we've heard this week, that's for sure.
You asked about whether Roddy could go for a second serve ace. It's not his modus operandi under pressure, Fitzy, to go for those sorts of things. He plays percentage.
Well, this is just an ace fest.
Three in a
row this time from Soderling, and it brings up 3 set points. There it is. The number 1 seed takes the opening set. 6 games to 3.
Take your seats quickly, please. Time.
It was a pretty quick opening set, 31 minutes for Robin Soderling, dominating with power, both off the serve and the ground stroke. So Andy Roddick got a job ahead of him to try to claw his way back into this final.
One of the first times we've seen Andy Roddick really earn a point from back there by pressing with his ground strokes. He gets around here nicely and he's inside the baseline there, which allows him to attack more with the forehand. His defensive skills are from a long way behind the baseline, so that might be the go. Step up onto the baseline and have a crack.
We've seen him over the last probably 4 years try to implement some different tactics within his game. There was a phase there he was trying to come into the net more and be more aggressive, but quite often he didn't choose the right ball to approach off. And he got burnt a little.
40 love.
It seems like he started this year, Fitzy, content to use the serve as the weapon and play consistently off the back of the court and try his luck that way.
Yeah.
It's a love game.
First game, second set.
Well, if either of these two players hit a lot of first serves into play, you know, things are taken out of your hands to a degree. And we're seeing some examples of it here. There's not much a returner can do when players serve at this speed and that accurately.
Well, Sam Stosur started the week by donating $100 for every ace she served in the tournament. Then Andy Roddick jumped on board with her, so he's been donating. But the ATP and the WTA have also got on board now, and they're going to donate $10 for every ace that is served by all of the tour players over the WTA and ATP events this summer here in Australia.
Beautiful.
So it's only $10 per ace, but it's every player. So they're estimating that that might come up into the vicinity of $40,000. A result there from the Medibank International in Sydney in the first round of the women's
15
singles. Australia Jelena Dokic really outplayed by Svetlana Kuznetsova. Score there 2-2. So Dokic now heads to Melbourne to see whether she can replicate that quarterfinals of a couple of years ago.
Great depth on that backhand, opens the court up, and he doesn't pull any punches, Soderling. Once the opening is there, there's no doubt about where he goes with that next ground stroke.
40-15.
Trying to wrong foot Roddick on that occasion.
40-30.
The opening was across court. Soderling saw Roddick moving back to his left in a hurry. But not an easy shot. That was the more difficult ground stroke to go for.
Game, Soderling.
Close it up on serve at 1-all.
1 game on.
Well, another result from the Medibank International. The last round of men's singles qualifying. The 18-year-old Bernard Tomic taking out the Pole Kubot 6-3, 6-2. So 3 very good wins for Bernard in Sydney.
And amazing what a kid can do when you let him play a few matches, huh?
Yep, indeed, Fitzy.
He hasn't, in my opinion, played anywhere near enough matches in the last 6 months.
No, and that's for sure. There's been a lot talked about that the last week and a half especially. He didn't perform very well here in Brisbane, went out meekly in the opening round.
Let's serve.
Just to give you a stat on the amount of matches that Bernard has played, leading into Sydney over this weekend where he's played 3 matches to qualify, he played 12 matches from July through to this week.
Well, nowhere near enough. If a young tennis player trying to aspire to get to the top echelon of the game doesn't play more matches than that, you're not giving him a chance. He needs to chase matches. That's what makes you improve. Playing under pressure. Practicing is one thing,
13-15.
but you can practice till the cows come home. Once you put in the pressure cooker of playing a match, it's a different story. So if you experience that, the more times you experience it, surely the more you're going to improve. Just logic. Well, as that point wore on, you could see that Soderling continued to get the upper hand. The momentum built in his favour here. He makes Roddick defend. He's got him right out of court, and he could have gone either way there. Chooses the right way. And this is a dangerous moment for Andy.
You could just see Soderling edging his way up onto the baseline in it, and Andy being edged further back to the backdrop. It's an overrule.
Yeah. And Soderling with no problem. Same linesman. He's having trouble with that wide one. Gee, that was a poor attempt there. He's not picking that up early enough, and Andy's starting to get a bit frustrated.
Roddick hangs on serve in the second, 2-1.
Those are middle of the line. Those are horrible. You can't.
He's not doing well.
He's not doing well, but it's our expense. It doesn't matter to him. But no, I know, but I'm saying you shouldn't have to.
I agree.
Those are 2 in the middle of the line. I mean,
Roddick leads 2 games to 1. I know.
Let's not set a trend.
No, I hope not.
It's not hurting. It's not affecting anybody but us. I mean. That was a good overall, though.
Time.
You can't just he's not doing well, but it's our expense. It doesn't matter to him, but... No, I know, but I'm saying you shouldn't have to. Those are two in the middle of the line. I mean, it's not like... Let's not set a trend. It's not hurting. It's not affecting anybody but us. I mean... That was a good overrule, though.
Beautiful. During the sit-down at the change of ends, that interaction between Andy Roddick and Fergus Murphy. Look, Andy's right. You know, look, bad luck. The linesman's missed a couple, and the last one he missed was a bit of a shocker. So he's under pressure, Andy feels, and just doesn't want any extra problems created by someone who's nervous on the line. So it was a good interaction between he and Fergus. I like the nice little throwaway compliment at the end. That was beautiful.
13-15.
It was a while coming too, wasn't it?
Good overall, though. He's a man of experience, Fergus, not phased. Yeah, that serve is just opening up the court, and Andy, as well as he's getting that ball back into play, because this is a good effort just to get this back. He anticipates it, gets it back, but Soderling with that club, it's like a velvet sledgehammer, that forehand. In fact, let me clarify that. It's not a velvet sledgehammer, it's a pure sledgehammer.
Jeff Masters, what's it like amongst the crowd courtside? What are they sensing?
2 games all.
Guys, I've got nothing to beat the velvet sledgehammer, Fitzy, but look, I think the crowd here is a little stunned because they've seen Roddick last year. They've known over the years what a power player he is, and here they've got someone in Soderling who's even more powerful, and they're a little bit in awe. I think the only way really Roddick can dismantle this power to some degree is by hitting a few more slice backhands, short cross court. He's not that comfortable coming forward, Soderling, but easier. It's an easier tactic to talk about than do when he's hitting this sort of power. It really is pretty awesome.
I totally agree, because the slice backhand of Robin Soderling is not very natural, but this is a shot. See that forehand there? I'm not quite sure why he doesn't start penetrating that down through the line a little bit more. Roddick likes to go cross courts, he's safety ball, but if he wants to take a risk, he's got to go down the line. You can then get Soderling moved, and he can't hit it as hard if he's on the full run.
Early days still, but to a degree the writing's on the wall here when you consider this is a long rally, the longest of the match so far, 36 shots, and as well as Andy Roddick did there to stay in the point, he still loses it because he needs to find a way to actually finish the point himself. Soderling can do it. At the moment, Andy's having trouble doing that. Against a lesser ground stroker, that tactic's fine.
15. 15-14.
Frustrated.
Yeah, well,
It's 2 break points.
you'd think that within Andy's mind frame at the moment, he's thinking, I'm not sure how to win from the back of the court here. Frustration's starting to boil over.
Dirty 40.
Right now, that's the only thing that looks like saving Andy. But gee, it puts a lot of pressure on a guy when he has to come up with that. Once Soderling gets the ball back into the court off Roddick's serve, he nullifies the serve. It seems it's like a 70-75% chance he's going to win the point. Break point again.
Chance to come forward there, Soderling, and didn't hesitate at backpedal.
You could tell how important that point was to Roddick. This match was right in the balance on that break point. Well, I think that's the fine line Andy Roddick is walking here. He knows he has to up the tempo on the forehand, which is his better weapon from the back of the court. But that lessens his odds of making every ball. So that error bring up another break point.
Second serve.
Well, you know he's feeling pressure when he goes for that big second serve. We said earlier, under pressure normally goes for the good, safe, hard, heavy kick. That time going for the one down the tee.
That's because he feels he's under 50% chance to win the point if he just gets it in.
Oh, lucky. He had to come forward, Roddick. He came forward, giving Soderling a running forehand passing shot, and Soderling will be angry about that miss.
Yeah, but I think Roddick has to come forward more now. He's not winning enough points from the back of the court. He's got to do something different.
Agreed.
He's not bad at the net. Solid volley, doesn't miss much. Come forward a bit more. Keep the points shorter. Oh yeah, and Jeff Masters will be happy with that.
Not sure he meant it quite as good as that, but it was perfect, wasn't it? A few more of those, he'd be a happy fella.
Well, there you go. Soderling not at his best when he has to move forward. Laterally, he's a lot more comfortable across the baseline.
So he's It's on serve. Tightening up just a touch. It's 3-2.
Roddick leads 3 games 2-2. Time.
Well, they're the winners of the men's doubles championships early today. On the right of screen, Australia's Paul Hanley and Lucas DeLuey. They were set up, one at 6-4. And then Robert Lindstedt had to retire. He was playing with Horia Takao. But a great start for the year for a new partnership.
Yeah, and a great start here to this second set. Roddick hanging on by a thread. He was in the previous game and fought hard, as you'd expect. He's a great competitor. The crowd really wants him to bury his teeth into this second set and prolong this match. Giving himself hope here. If he'd lost serve in that previous game, it seemed like Soderling was on his way to victory. That's something new.
Yeah, right up in the court. Inside of the baseline.
See, I like this because the longer the rally goes, I think the more the odds favour Soderling, generally. Not all the time, but most of the time. And to keep the points shorter, I think, is worthwhile for Roddick.
Yeah, he's trying to do that, Fitzy. He's thinking his way through.
30-15. Yeah,
Soderling.
Yahoo 7 is the official online broadcaster of the 2011 Australian Open. yahoo7.com.au/sport.
Robin Soderling, he's giving a bit of Roddick's medicine back to him. Roddick's used to having the quick service games and then being able to return. Today it's the other way around.
Well, he's ahead in the aces department, Soderling, by 2. It's 13-11.
Love 15.
You can see Soderling wants to finish it in 2 sets. He's pumped. His main objective here is to get the Roddick ball back into play, nullify the serve if he can, and then he feels he's a better than even chance to win each point.
He's doing such a good job at returning Roddick's serve. Reading it well, particularly the one down the middle there on that second court.
The I'm waiting for the big one wide here. We've got the same linesman standing on that same line. I bet his heart's in his mouth. Can you believe Soderling missed that one? It was the soft ball that Jeff Masters has talked about. No pace, but he's got so much vicious topspin, Soderling. You'd expect him to make that. He went over the high part of the net with this attempt.
Yeah, the low ball that's not got a lot of pace is the one that he finds difficulty with, more so off the backhand side than the forehand. But, gee, he is just hanging by a thread, Roddick, isn't he?
Oh, what an overhead. World class. Good defensive lob from Soderling. He did the right thing. He played the percentages here, Soderling. Crazy to go for something more than this. He puts it up and asks the question. But Roddick backs himself and just annihilates that overhead. I'm not sure what happens to the Roddick volley here. He has the chance here, doesn't get hold of that volley. It dipped a little low for him, I think. Couldn't put enough on it.
But you could see in that angle there, that's the benefit of the modern strings the players are playing with. It got enough spin that it looked high over the net, then all of a sudden it dips down, and for a volley you can't get the ball to penetrate, run away off the court. He's gone by with a natural gut restring. The trajectory of that ball would have come flatter and the volley would have been far easier.
Advantage. Roddick. Soderling challenging the goal right near sideline. Ball was called out.
Yeah, I think it faded wide, this one.
Yeah, you can see in the flight there on Hawkeye. Just hit inside out.
Advantage Roddick. Soderling has 2 challenges remaining.
Roddick puts to juice again in that game, but he hangs on. It's 4-3 in the second.
Roddick leads 4 games to 3. New balls, please.
I'm gonna have the ball kid run and get 2 Advil from Doug, is that okay?
Justin, go over here. Go down here.
Guy in the red shirt, please, thanks.
Seats quickly, please. Time.
Crowd trying to rev Andy Roddick up. He's certainly starting to change tactics. We've talked about it, but we saw in that last rally bringing Soderling forward, coming into the net, taking returns of serve early.
Soderling with new balls here. Roddick needs to try and make some inroads against his serve. They've been quick in recent times. Soderling's winning his serve much quicker than Roddick is, and that builds pressure on a player.
Yeah, Roddick been taken to juice 4 times, and that doesn't include the game that he was broken. And you can see the difference between the two at the moment is that after the big serve, Soderling's got that forehand and he can hit the next clean winner, whereas Roddick, he gets this one and then starts rolling it back into play, allowing
a bit of noise in the crowd, a bit of rain coming through the gaps again.
That's 40-11.
Yeah, just allows then Robin Soderling to get set in the point, and then he's patient enough, the right ball comes and whack.
He's got the racket head speed to knock the ball off instantly, whereas Andy doesn't have quite the penetration on his forehand to put it away, unless it's really short. As good a forehand as he is, or as he has, look, Pistolesi there, Claudio must be very confident at the moment that his charge is looking good here. Here's an indication of Andy Roddick, his rally hit point. So you can see how far back. That's two things. He likes playing back behind the baseline because he defends well there, but against Soderling, this man's ground strokes are so good that it's a bit dangerous to be all the way back there, because you're just asking eventually for Soderling to step in and crack a clean winner. Probably needs to go up a little bit more towards the baseline, I think. Penetrate himself. Just a bit more moisture in Brisbane this week.
You tell me. Well,
it's just like another squall coming through. This is a harder time for Soderling than it is for Roddick, I think, because Soderling knows how close he is to winning, and keeping his concentration and remaining patient right now is going to be hard for him.
Gee, from the eastern side of this stadium, there's a real mist coming through, and some of it surely has to be getting down there on the surface.
Jeff, you're on the eastern side. What's it like?
Guys, I'm about 7 rows from the front and I'm getting wet. Fortunately, I've got a full head of hair, so it's not worrying me. But I tell you, it's a bit ugly here.
Well, let's not wait for it to get wet. I mean, obviously it's raining, it's going to get wet. We're going to wait till it gets slippery. So wait till one of us has potentially get hurt before we do anything. We don't want us to stay healthy, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, the players should feel free to suggest to the umpires. I mean, they're down there, they know how much they're slipping. I think Andy just looking for an avenue to vent.
What he just did simulates what we do. I think I'm finished. If I get hurt, I swear I'm going to go absolutely crazy. Okay, Fergus, you went like this? You went back there. I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna recreate what you just did. Okay? You went back there and went like this. And then you went to the day that I move like that, and that's a like direct interpretation of how we move. How did you check? Go like this?
I don't remember, but I checked a few lines.
I do.
Okay, maybe the whole process is crap. It's brown. You know, if it was clear, I'd stop.
No, it's clear. If it's slippery at all, you don't play.
But it wasn't slippery.
It is slippery. I can see water. I can look.
So you're not seeing smart. You're going to stop the water. That doesn't make sense.
Whilst these two are discussing, there's a lot of kids out, with the ball kids out, trying to dry the lines with towels.
I'm not about to get hurt before Melbourne. What am I going to do? I'm going to sit here and get timed out? He said he's going to do that to the lines, and then tough crap, play.
But I don't see the problem. Ferguson's not telling them to play, surely.
I'm not going to run and get hurt for Melbourne. Totally making this, just so you know, at this moment, with this decision, you're not making it about the players anymore. You're not making this about the players anymore.
Well, that's your opinion.
No, it's not my opinion. Well, what do you want? What are you scared of? You're scared because you got TV cameras on you. We're going to have dead air. That's what you're scared of right now. No, well, why would you think your decision? That's fine, what you say, but your actions represent a different intent. Yeah, that was before it started raining. Heavier. You're right. You can tell if a court's slipperier more so than I can. That makes sense. No, you don't judge it the same. You don't play tennis. I play tennis.
There's even more mist coming through now than there was.
I can't see what the big issue is really when Fergus is not telling the players to play.
No offense, my opinion on whether a court is wet or not and if it's playable far surpasses your opinion on whether a court's playable. Well, that would probably be smart.
I've been umpiring for 15, 16 years, and
I don't care. Then
what do you mean you don't care?
I don't care. It's not relevant when I'm telling you a court's wet and you're telling me it's not, and you went back there and went like this. No, I watched you the entire time. You want to rewind it now. Rewind it and go to the tape, please. Well, luckily for me, it started raining more. Let's not make it sound like you're doing it. It conveniently worked out that it started raining longer.
Well, there's a difference between the way the two are handling it right now.
Yeah, Soderling's ahead. He's pretty relaxed. Andy's a bit uptight, and I think he's just looking for a bit of a verbal joust, really.
We've seen a bit of that over the past 4 or 5 years from Andy when things are not going his way, when he's been frustrated. He uses that as a catalyst, but it never helps him.
Yeah, and I don't think Fergus could have done much else because he stopped them when they both suggested it was too slippery, no problem, and he's not forcing anyone to play here. They're waiting until this mist stops coming through. Now, the wind is blowing it through the gaps in the stadium, and that will get onto the court surface. They're waiting for that to dry, and when it's dry, he'll ask them to play, but not before.
Well, this was Roddick's footwork just before they stopped. You can see there that there was slippage in that.
But of course there was, but then Fergus goes, okay, well, it's too slippery. Stop.
And here's Fergus's attempt at the slide. It's not quite as aggressive with his movement, Fergus.
No, that's true. So if you want to make a debate on that issue, yes, of course, he didn't make a slide, but he knows it's too wet to play right now. That's why he's not asking him to go back on the court.
There's Brooklyn.
Oh, she's seen Andy with his shirt off before.
Well, there's plenty of people looking around, watching, trying to sort out this situation. Both players are now sitting down, so we may take an opportunity here to take a break at the Brisbane International. It's the men's final.
What? What was that? What was that? Do what? Well, I hope so, but as long as I don't walk like that, I'm fine. I consider it a victory. There isn't really trance around here. How long have we been on?
Ball boys ready, linesmen ready, players ready, play.
What a way to beat the world number one.
That has to be the best point of the match.
Your Royal Highness, welcome to the world of tennis. Thanks for coming.
What was that? What was that? Do what? Well, I hope so, but as long as I don't walk like that, I'm fine. I consider it a victory. There isn't really trance around here.
Well, Andy having a bit of chit-chat to Larry Stefanki, his coach, while we're away.
He thought he had a victory in the debate. Oh, look, you can understand, you know, this guy is a great guy, Andy Roddick. He's a good corporate citizen. He's a good citizen, full stop. But in that situation, he was just looking for, I think, a verbal joust, probably. Can't speak for him, but looking like he just wanted to vent a bit of frustration. He's been having trouble with the opposition down the other end, and sometimes that can relieve your tension a little bit too and enable you to swing a bit harder at the ball. Maybe this will change the momentum. I think we're not far away here. Soderling ready to return serve. Roddick ready to serve. Seems like the mist has stopped coming in through the gap in the stadium roof.
Well, we coming into this play on here right now. We saw some great shots of what's going to be happening over the summer of tennis this summer, and there's plenty of action starting tomorrow at the Brisbane International in Sydney. Sam Stosur's in action. She plays another Australian, Anastasia Rodionova. So all of that action here on 7 tomorrow. Players look like they're ready to go. Andy's not now. He's talking to Thomas Carlberg, the ATP supervisor.
15, okay. I should be nice and warm after 11. It's good. 15 would be way too much.
Okay, it's 4-all, a set to Soderling, and it's 15-all.
As much as Andy's probably been hanging on in this set, if he can hold serve this time and next and take this to a tiebreaker, he's well in this match still. Roddick's done well here in the first 2 points.
40-15,
he's out-rallied Soderling.
Challenge remaining.
And this forehand here is the one that if Andy wants to open up the court a bit more against Soderling, he's going to have to start to use that one. Andy Roddick, he holds serve and he leads 5-4 in the second set.
Roddick leads 5-4. 15 love.
So really important in terms of concentration levels, not to let a break like that disturb the rhythm you've had already. And gee, he is winning his service games easily, isn't he?
He's only dropped, by my count, 4 points on serve for the entire set.
And over time, that builds pressure because it just catching the line there with that last one. It builds pressure when the opposition has to serve so quickly again.
Let's first serve.
And then struggle to a large degree, which Andy's been doing in this set to hold serve.
Roddick challenging the call, left baseline. Ball was called out.
Okay, let him challenge.
Was it out to challenge?
Well, I found that really strange too from Robin Soderling. A bit of pressure here.
40 love.
They're going to replay this point, and he said, how can you let him challenge?
I don't think he wanted him to challenge because he knew it was in.
Well, maybe he felt that the point was already finished and he had called he hadn't called the score in that instance, though.
No.
40 love still. Both these players here just fighting their own demons a little bit in the pressure stages of this second set.
Soderling levels it up.
Five games on.
Roddick taking a lot of time. I think that favours him, Fitzy, at this particular stage. Soderling likes momentum, likes it coming onto him quickly.
What I like, though, about two competitive, proud athletes here is that they're competing. They're not going to roll over here. They both want to win this desperately. It'll set them in good, or put them in good stead for the remainder of the Australian summer, particularly the Australian Open, and they want to win this. They don't want to give anything away to someone they might play in the quarterfinals of the Australian Open. Challenging,
left centre service line.
but I think wide.
Ball was called fault.
Andy shaking his head. I'm not sure if he means that the call was bad or it was the serve. I think he knew it.
Gold stands, love study.
And a very large moment now. So the penetration out to the backhand. Andy's just lost a little momentum here. Jeff, it looks like this is the big moment for Andy Roddick, doesn't it?
Well, I think so. He calmed down after that little breakdown over the rain coming in, but gee, he's got a long way to go here. And Soderling, as you guys said, he looks ready for this.
Let's first serve.
His temperament's been great the whole way through.
Mr. Soderling challenging the call. Left near sideline. Ball was called in.
Well, Andy was walking to his chair.
Yeah, this is tight. It's fading a little bit at the end. Oh my goodness, it catches it. Worth a challenge, no doubt.
Call stands.
Touched the line by 1 millimetre, we're told.
Soderling has no challenges remaining. Let's serve.
Oh, goodness me. Well, that had to be put down to tightness, you'd think. Soderling not the player with the most feel when he moves forward. He really bricked that one into the net. I think he changed his mind.
Well, it's the shot Jeff's talked about numerous occasions. 2 saved. There's the third. Dozen aces for Roddick. Well, this is the 10th break point opportunity for Robin Soderling. Believe it or not, throughout this match, Andy Roddick hasn't had one.
Let's first serve.
Soderling gets the break, and when we return, he will serve for the Brisbane International. He leads by a set and 6-5.
6 games to 5. Time.
Well, Andy Roddick was out of his chair a good 15 seconds before the umpire called time. Robin just asking for a towel to dry the court on the baseline in front of him.
That's just perspiration, guys, from Andy Roddick. It's nothing to do with rain. Just Roddick just ripping the hand off his cap.
The players, rightly so, they get a little paranoid about that amount of moisture, so they won't slip at all. They don't want to miss their step. Maybe cause an ankle problem. He's been dominant on serve, has Soderling. Hasn't faced a break point the whole match. And he'd be feeling good right now.
30 laps. Steady, 15.
Well, that point just showing what Robin Soderling's done better all day. And it brings up championship point for the #1 seed.
Game, set and match, Soderling. Choose off first, 6-3, 7-5.
Well, a standing ovation for Robin Soderling, the #1 seed. He beat Andy Roddick the last time they played, and today he was incredibly dominant, taking out the final here at the Brisbane International in straight sets, 6-3, 7-5. And he makes his way over to his coach and girlfriend. And what a great way to start the Australian summer of tennis for Robin Soderling. Fitzy, he's got to be a real contender going into the Australian Open.
Oh, absolutely. He can win on any surface, I think, Robin Soderling. And in this form, with this confidence, he has to be a big threat at the Aussie Open in a couple of weeks' time. He'll be feeling really good about himself.
Well, we'll take a break. The presentation will follow. Robin Soderling, the champion here in Brisbane, against the former champion, Andy Roddick. Well, these were the defining moments of the final here at the Brisbane International. Robin Soderling, too strong, didn't drop a set all week. He dominated from the very first day. Time now to head to the presentation with your Master of Ceremonies, Craig Willis.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've had a great week of tennis here in Brisbane, and I'm sure on behalf of you all, you won't mind me saying, Robin and Andy, thanks for coming, guys. It was terrific to have you. We're joined for the presentation by the President of Tennis Australia, Mr Steve Healy, Mr Steve Wood, the Chief Executive Officer of Tennis Australia, the Treasurer here in Queensland, Andrew Fraser, Tournament Director, Steve Ailes, and ATP Supervisor, Mr Thomas Karlberg. I'm going to invite Mr Fraser to say a few words, sir, if you would.
Thank you. Can I congratulate both of today's finalists for their efforts. When we built this stadium, we wanted to attract an international standard tournament to get some of the globe's best tennis players, and I think this afternoon we've been treated to some world-class tennis. That tennis, of course, came in 2 chapters, and so while the rain has been somewhat of an inconvenience here this afternoon, of course, for many other Queenslanders, it's much more than an inconvenience today, and I wanted to particularly thank the tournament for their generous contribution, and indeed to today's runner-up, Andy Roddick, for also making a contribution to help out Queenslanders in need during the flood crisis. As you can see, you're more than welcome back. Thanks very much.
Minister, thank you. I'm going to invite now our Tournament Director, Steve Ailes, to say a few words.
Thanks, Craig. First of all, I want to congratulate Robin on a fantastic... the way he played today was just incredible. Well done, Robin. And as for Andy, I know he lost today. I think he's playing some of his best tennis, but off the court, this guy has been fantastic. He arrived early at the tournament. He was part of our charity day, our fun day, our family day. He's helped us out. Nothing is too difficult for this man. And as Andrew Fraser just said, he's also put $100 for every ace and contributed to the flood appeal as well. So thanks very much, Andy. I do want to quickly mention this stadium again. I apologise to all those people up there that got a little wet, but as again Andrew Fraser said, without the roof it would have been a whole lot worse today, and in fact for the whole week we'd have been well behind. This is a world-class stadium and we're very proud to have it here in Queensland. And just quickly to touch on the weather conditions, it has been terrible, but despite that, again, I want to thank everybody in the crowd here who's come out and supported this event over the last 3 years. Very testing conditions this year, but Brisbane and Queensland have still embraced this event, so thank you all very much as well. And I mentioned this yesterday, but this event and this final has gone out to nearly 150 countries around the world. It's available on our website, our YouTube channel, so we really have taken Brisbane right around the globe. And finally, thanks to all the players, the ATP Tour, the WTA Tour, this magnificent venue leased by Tennis Queensland, all the volunteers, the ball boys, the transport drivers, court services, all do a fantastic job. And of course to the Brisbane International team, to Dan and Beth and Cass and Ben and Cherie, thank you all very much. And this is my last year as Tournament Director, so thank you all and I hope to see you again sometime soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Done a great job. Well, it wasn't his day today. 29 titles. I'm sure the 30th is just around the corner. He served 54 aces during the tournament, so that's $5,400 to the flood appeal. He's a great player. He's a hell of a guy. Ladies and gentlemen, our runner-up from the United States of America, Andy Roddick.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. First of all, I'd like to thank CSG and all the other sponsors. Without them, we don't have tennis back here in Brisbane for the last 3 years, so please give them a round of applause. Next, I'd like to congratulate Robin. He had a great week. He played well. He served too well today. It seems like every time I had a look, he came up with one of those big serves. It's better being... I'm normally on that side of it. Today I was on the other side of it. And thank all of you. I know I just got... Thank you all of you for staying, even though you're a little bit wet up there. I'll buy some umbrellas for all you all next year, maybe. Also, please, I know I did a very small part this week with giving money for Aces, but you know, everybody should give something. I'm happy to double my contribution for this week, whatever it was, and but also here's the deal. So if everyone here donates $2, that matches mine also. So if you guys promise to do that, I'm happy to double mine. That's about it. Steve, thank you for a wonderful 2 years. Sad to see you go. I certainly love playing here in Brisbane, and hopefully I'll be invited back. Thank you very much.
Andy Roddick, our finalist in 2011. I'm going to invite Minister Andrew Fraser to present the Champions Trophy to Robin Sderling of Sweden.
Well, first of all, Andy, congratulations to a great week. You played some really good tennis, and you had an excellent start of the season, and I'm sure if you keep it up, you will have a great year. Then, of course, I would like to thank everybody who helped making this tournament so good, all the sponsors, the organizers, the ball kids. I will probably forget a lot of you, but you're all doing really great, and this is for sure one of my favorite tournaments. You know, I came here the first time 2 years ago, and I liked it a lot. And now 2 years later, I think you improved a lot. Now it's a great tournament. Then, of course, my team for this week, Jenny, my girlfriend. Thank you very much for your support, and Claudio, my coach. We only worked for a couple of weeks. This is the first tournament, and I think, you know, so far it's working pretty well. Huh? And at last, to all of you who came out here, not only today, during the whole week, even though the weather wasn't great. You know, it's great to play in front of you, and I really hope to see you again next year. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, our singles champion for 2011 here at the Brisbane International, Robin Sderling of Sweden. Well done.
Well, the 7th career title there for Robin Sderling, and one expects that there's many more of those to come. Well, that's it from the Brisbane International for 2011. Don't go away, because there's plenty more tennis coming your way from the Medibank International in Sydney when we return with the conclusion of Jelena Dokic and Svetlana Kuznetsova.